Okay, this is for prospective homeowners. Um, we are Habitat for Humanity. We're a nonprofit organization. We're heavily supported by volunteers. We would not be able to do what we do if we didn't have volunteers that came out every day, that were out on the job sites to help us build. And then we pride ourselves on being builders of decent and affordable homes. We're not giving out free homes. Sometimes people think that Habitat just gives away homes, although that would be wonderful if we could do that. That's not what we are doing. And we're not a government program. How we keep costs low for our homeowners. Like I said, volunteers come out and donate their time and labor. And we also get donated materials. So we work with different organizations to get either significantly reduced services or materials, or just outright donated. And then homeowner mortgage payments go back to building more homes. So once somebody becomes a homeowner and they pay their monthly mortgage payment, that just provides us for more funds to be able to go out and build the next home. So to be able to qualify, some basic key points that you need to have, you have to live or work in Chester County. So it doesn't have to be both, it could be one or the other. You need to have a need for affordable housing. We'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. Ability to pay a mortgage. So you have to be within certain income guidelines that we feel that you will be able to repay back your mortgage. We don't want to set up anyone to fail, give them a higher loan than they could afford. So there's some parameters around that. And then you have to be willing to partner with us at Habitat. So there's a few things that you have to do to partner with us as you go through the homeownership program. I'll talk about that too. So based on need, so a few things that we're looking at is your current housing situation, is it inadequate, unsafe or unhealthy, overcrowded? So we will do home visits once you're financially approved to kind of go over that. We just want to make sure that there is a need for our homeowners. A need could also be if you don't have your own place to live, if you are, staying with a relative or a family member. We consider that to be homeless because it's not your own residence. So, that is also something that we look at. We also don't want to see, siblings of opposite sex sharing bedrooms, those types of things. So overcrowded could even mean, having a really tiny living space. We know that some different apartments can be super tiny for a 3 or 4 family house. So we want to make sure that you have, a nice place to live. Are you able to afford a mortgage? So what we're looking at certain income. You have to make a certain amount each year, which I'll go over in a few minutes, but we're also looking at your debt to income ratio. So that should be 39% or less. And there's formulas that we plug into systems to be able to determine that. So your debt would be credit card debt, auto loans, things like that. We don't consider your debt to be your rent or childcare or those types of things. Although we do ask what those are, just in kind of determining if we think you can pay back your mortgage. Your debt is what we're seeing on a credit report, what's outstanding that you owe back to other folks. And then we want to see your credit score at least a 600 or better. We have allowed people into the program that maybe are high 5s, low 6s. Really what we're looking at is what's on your credit report more than what that number is. So we've even had people that, have a 650, but they just have a lot of debt that they're still trying to chip away at, or write-offs. We don't want to see write-offs on a credit report. We want you to pay back what you owe. But as a general rule, we want to see it around a 600 or better on a credit report. So these are the income requirements. They actually start the 15th of this month. These are 2022's numbers. So each year we get numbers from HUD, what the annual median income is for Chester County. So it's based on family size, as you can see. And then we kind of have a minimum and a maximum. That maximum is a pretty hard and fast rule. You cannot be over that amount. The minimum we can kind of work with. If you're a couple $1,000s under that, depending on what your debt is, you might still be able to qualify for the program, but that's just kind of a general rule that we don't want to see you under that amount. But those maximums we definitely have to adhere to, because that would be 80% of the annual income for Chester County in those family size categories. Are you willing to partner with us? So you must be able to communicate. I talk to my homeowners that are going through the program at least monthly, if not much more than that. So I need to know what's going on with you financially, if something changes in your income for better or for worse, if you need to get a new car. I say need, not want. If life circumstances get in the way and something changes financially, I need to know about that as soon as possible, because right before we go to settlement with homeowners, we check all of those things again. We're going to run credit reports again. We're going to get your updated pay stubs. So it's much better to know about those things as we move along in the process than right before we go to settlement and you be in jeopardy of not being able to go to close. You need to be able to attend workshops. So I'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. But we partner with different organizations with workshops that we require you to do. And then you need to be able to complete sweat equity. Sweat equity is volunteer hours that you give back to Habitat to help build your home, take your workshop classes. We have different various ways that you can earn sweat equity. And depending on what type of program that we have that you're going to do would depend on how many hours that you need to complete, which I'll talk about as well. So sweat equity. So typically anyone going through our homeownership program will need to complete 200 hours per applicant. You can do this at the construction site, like I said, helping build your home or one of your neighbors, attending workshops. If you have children, which I believe all of you have to have children to be in the North Star program, they can help you get sweat equity hours by getting good grades on their report card. So we really try to make it attainable for you to be able to do. 200 hours seems like a lot, but we give you lots of different ways that you can do so. Writing thank you notes to donors, making brownies for the other staff. And then we also, and Dawn, you might be, it's slipping my mind how many hours we said we would give, but if you go through the North Star program, you will get hours already towards your sweat equity just by going through the North Star program and being referred to us by them. I think it's either 20 or 30 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe it's 20 hours you get credit towards by being in our program.
Yep, which is great. So you're already starting out, once you're approved, you already have 20 out of those 200 hours. So the workshops that we require homeowners to go through, we partner with Open Hearth. They do workshops on budgeting and first-time home buyer programs. They have a family savings program, which is great. You go through the savings program. You need to save $2,000 towards your closing cost, and then Open Hearth partners with the United Way, and then they match you with $4,000 worth of funds. So you get to go to closing with $6,000 towards closing costs, which is just fantastic, and all just by saving $2,000 on your own. You also get 8 hours worth of sweat equity for doing the Open Hearth program. So that's going towards that 200 hours as well. And then we also partner with the Housing Partnership of Chester County. They do credit counseling, first-time homebuyer program, and once you go through their program, you get 11 hours of sweat equity with them as well. Right, so where are we building? Oh, sorry, I think my image cut off a little bit. Currently, we are building in Coatesville and in West Grove. We are looking for land possibilities all throughout the county. We are of Chester County. So we will be in other parts of the county, as we move along. But currently we're building in Coatesville and in West Grove. Our homes are roughly 1,400 square feet, usually not less than that, but sometimes they can be around 1,600 square feet. It just kind of depends on the model. They typically are 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1 car garage, deck off with a living room with the ones that we're doing in Coatesville right now, air conditioning. Your kitchen and bathrooms have vinyl, and then the living rooms, bedrooms, hallways, stairs, everything else besides the kitchen and bathroom are carpeted. We provide a refrigerator, stove, washer and dryer, and then you would provide the dishwasher. In West Grove, they're a little bit different. We are partnering with the USDA on the West Grove homes, and they are townhomes. So they're still 4 bedroom, 2 bath, but there is no garage, and those are townhomes, not single family homes, but still roughly around the same square feet, everything else included. So these are the front of 2 of the homes that we built in Coatesville. This is in Cambria Terrace. We are getting ready to finish up that development. This is the style of pretty much every single home in Cambria Terrace, and the style that we like to do in most areas, depending on city or township requirements and those types of things. This would be the kitchen area, living space. Kitchen is behind there. This is one of the, I think, a great view of up on the hill in Coatesville, looking down at the rest of the development. Hallway area. So this is the 3rd floor. There's typically we have 2 bedrooms on the bottom floor with a bathroom. Then your middle level is living space, and then top level is the last 2 bedrooms and bathroom. The bedrooms. Okay. And like I said, West Grove is pretty much the same, just townhomes, and not a single family. So the application process. So right now, applications are ongoing for West Grove. So we are building a total of 40 homes in West Grove, and we have 17 of those homeowners already accounted for. So still have quite a bit of ways to go. So we're just keeping that application window open until we reach our total 40. Right now, we're looking for 3 more families for our phase 4 project, and we will be breaking ground on that the last week of June. Typically, it takes about a year from start to finish for one of our homes. That's just a ballpark. COVID and supply chain issues have really made things a little bit of a struggle with getting things, but so sometimes we've seen it be maybe 1 or 2 months over that time frame, but we try to aim for start to finish in a year. And then applications for Coatesville will open back up in the fall. Right now we're finishing up Cambria Terrace up on the hill with some of the pictures that you saw. And then we will go down into the city. We have some plots of land that we've had for a few years that we will start building on. And what's great about our partnership with North Star is before we open up that application window, we will let North Star know. So any of you guys that want to submit an application can do so first before we open it up to the rest of the community, which will be really beneficial because it's been closed for quite some time. So we will definitely have an influx of applicants. So, we really want to give our North Star folks first priority. You guys have been working hard through your program, hopefully getting set up for success to meet our financial requirements. And we can give you kind of first dibs on those properties. We also are looking for rehab homes in the whole county. So I know I've spoken to a few North Star um, folks that really want to get into the Downingtown area or Westchester area. So we have been actively speaking with different townships and municipalities on any opportunities that we can get for rehab homes in the area. Land is pretty difficult to get these days. There's not much of it left, but we're also, working in other areas to find plots of land as well. And we will let North Star know as we get any rehab homes or plots of lands that we're building at besides Coatesville. And then you can also, if you want to go to our website and sign up to receive updates on when the application window opens, you can certainly do so. But like I said, I will definitely let North Star know ahead of time so you guys can submit your applications before we open it up to the rest of the community. And then once you download the application, there's a checklist of supporting documentation that we need just to confirm financial status, those types of things. You just mail that back to me at the address provided. Or if you feel more comfortable like giving it to me, we would set up a time that we could meet at either our office in Phoenixville or our restore in Coatesville. And it's really important to make sure that you have a completed application. On our website, we also have a video that walks you through the application process to ensure that you are completing a completed application. I'm more than happy to walk through that process with you as well if you have any questions. But a lot of times we see folks, I don't know if they just forget to add something or think maybe it's not as important or they can't find it and they'll just submit an incomplete application. It just slows down the process and the potential for you to be accepted into the program. So really making sure that you look through that checklist and make sure you have everything because we will need it. So that's very important. So kind of the timeline of events. So if your application is complete, we'll do an income and rent verification. So that's where, I'm looking at all the financial documents that we require in the application, just to make sure that you are within the parameters, that you make enough that you would be able to pay back the mortgage, and you don't make too much that it disqualifies you from the program. Once we confirm that, then we'll do a credit and background check to, see what's on the credit report. No one in the program can have a felony. So that's why we do a background check. And then once both of those come back and we're good to go, then we would set up a time for our family services committee to come out and do a home visit. And that's where we're going to assess the need for housing and just kind of talk through all the requirements, make sure that you are on board to partner with Habitat. You're willing to do the sweat equity required, the workshops required. So we do that depending on how many applicants we get and how many homes we have. Then we're basing everything based off of need for who we allow into the program. So if we have 5 homes that we are looking for homeowners for and get 10 applicants, then from there it's based off of need. And I don't think I mentioned this, but another important thing that we look at for need is how much your rent costs. So a lot of times we will see homeowners, their monthly mortgage is much less than what their rent was by a couple $100 in a lot of cases. So that if we see that your rent is super high, that is also a need that we want to address for folks in the community. So that's important as well. So if you are accepted into the program, I can't stress this enough, make sure that you are communicating. Try not to have any significant life changes. Don't get married, divorced, try not to get pregnant, all these things that can really affect, your ability to pay and maybe shift you around in categories. It is important because we're qualifying you for what your family size is at that time, what the income of the household is. So if things change significantly, like one of those things, then it could bump you out of the program. And be prepared to work. So 200 hours of sweat equity, it is a lot. Like I said, you typically have a year to complete those hours. So you can definitely spread it out over time. You're coming in from the North Star program with 20 hours already. But it's hard work. But what's great about going and working on your home or one of your neighbors' homes is you're going to learn a lot of things that you're going to need to know once you become a homeowner. How to patch drywall, how to fix minor plumbing issues, those types of things. So a lot of our homeowners are really thankful for what they learn while they're out on the job site for future needs that they're going to have. And if you have any questions, my contact information is there for you, always available by phone or email. It's a big decision to make to want to purchase a home. So I'm always there to answer any questions that you have. So I am going to stop sharing my screen and then we can go over any questions that you guys have. Anything like that. Awesome.
Well, thank you for presenting that information. And before we throw things open for questions, and I'm sure there'll be a few, when you talk about the sweat equity hours, yes, North Star's program provides 20 hours. But one thing that I'm trying to do from a North Star staff standpoint, our donors, but also our board, is to come alongside our families that are a part of Habitat. And we want to be able to help you with those sweat equity hours. So just know that we're just not going to throw you out into this program saying good luck. We're going to be right there alongside of you. It's important that we do this together.
And I just wanted to make another comment in regards to the application process. This is Diane. If anyone is interested in North Star, before you contact Brooke, and Brooke, thank you for giving your contact information. I pre-screen them for the Habitat program. Contact me at the North Star office. I also will make sure that you have the appropriate credit score, that your income qualify. I do a profile that I give to Brooke and actually recommend you for the Habitat for Humanity program. This way she knows that you are a participant in our program and where the referral is coming from. So please contact me or the office first. We have a profile form that we submit to Habitat, and we have to check before you actually apply to make sure that your credit score and your income qualifies you. And even if it does not, if you're fairly close, we can discuss that with Habitat and see what you need to do to qualify for the program. So there is a pre-qualifying process before you contact Brooke Seeger at Habitat. Thank you.
How you'll get the 20 hours onto your sweat equity as long as you go through those channels with Diane.
Brooke, we did have one question about the sweat equity. Could you talk a little bit about what kinds of stuff, you touched on it a little bit, but could you talk about what kind of stuff people are expected to do during that process? Like what actual labor is involved?
Yeah. So we do want the bulk of your hours to come from being at the job site. Unless there's some, physical factors, obviously we handle that case by case if you just cannot physically be on the job site for, a full day or something like that. But primarily we do want that to happen on the job site, and you are doing whatever task is happening that day. So it could be anywhere from framing rooms, doing the drywall, so hanging and finishing, light plumbing work. We do certain skills. We use volunteers or paid subcontractors for particular skills like electrical work and so forth. But there are, minor plumbing things that anyone can do. holding a fitting so they, somebody else can glue it and make sure it's tight, those types of things. Hanging fixtures, putting vanities in place, hanging mirrors, light switches, painting, all that good stuff. We have subcontractors that do like the HVAC work, flooring work, that type of thing. And depending on where we're at in the build process, and when we want to complete a home, sometimes we'll have subcontractors come in and do some of the work that we typically have volunteers do. So we, everything, can change depending on what's going on. But yeah, I mean, really anything, laying grass seed outside, doorknobs, that type of stuff. And then in addition to the stuff on the job site, you can volunteer in our restore. So helping with like customer service, inventory, donation intake. So our restore, if you're not familiar, we have one in Coatesville and we just opened one in Phoenixville. And we take donated, gently used goods, typically household items, furniture, dishes, that type of thing, tools, and then resell them. And all of the profits from the restore go back to building homes. So our goal is to be able to make enough money from our restores each year that we can build another Habitat home. So you can help there. In the office, writing thank you notes to donors, going out to events with us, and promoting Habitat, making baked goods for our volunteers on site. Your children can get involved by, getting good grades, and submitting report cards. If you have children that are 15 or 16 years of age and older, then they can help. You have to be 16 to help at the job site and 15 to help in the restore. So they could also help you with hours there. Yeah.
Okay. And Jasmine, I think you had your hand raised.
Yes, good morning.
Hi.
I apologize for the raspy voice. So I just wanted to share like a personal, hold on, how to put my hand down? There we go. So my mom went through the Habitat program like 15 years ago, and I was in college at the time, and it was actually extremely rewarding to go out and participate with building not only our home, but our neighbors' homes as well. And just for the families that are looking to be a part of the program, like I'm looking to be a part of the Habitat program. I have my own family, but it was extremely rewarding. I remember I coordinated with our track team, and that was our community service project for the year. We were able to go out and help with the foundation of my mom's home, and like my track team members actually, like, we have our names embedded in the beams in her basement with little positive messages on there. There are some scriptures down there, and some of the other volunteers just left little positive notes. So when we go into my mom's basement, I show my kids that, and they're like, wow, you actually helped build grandma's house. And I'm like, yeah, I actually helped build grandma's house. I remember painting. My daughter's father was with us, and he helped put the siding on. It's just rewarding to know that you contributed in such a way. And we learned how to paint. We learned how to put siding on. We learned how to connect the washer and the dryer. Things that you're not thinking of when you're 19, 20 years old. But when you look back, when you still have those skill sets, or you have a foundation of what to do when you become a homeowner. So that's just my personal spiel as to how beneficial it is to be a part of Habitat. And, I'm hoping in the future that I'm able to qualify and be a part of the program as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. And we still have volunteers come and write scripture verses and positive messages on the 2x4s. We actually, we don't even know who did it. We have corporate team builds that come out. They actually pay us to come volunteer, which just goes right back to building more homes, which is just fantastic. But, you get a lot of office people that are sitting in front of a computer all the time. A great team build opportunity is to come and swing a hammer together, or, demo some things. And we think it was one of our corporate team builds that came out, and we have the townhomes in West Grove, and there's 5 homes in each block. And I mean, every single 2x4 was covered head to toe with messages. I think somebody probably just didn't want to swing a hammer that day and just wanted to write messages, but we still do that. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Well, I'd like to add also, well, we talk a lot about the sweat equity, but don't feel that you need to be a contractor in skills. There's professionals on site, and there's people that can easily guide you and teach you as you go. And I was able to take my son up with me one day, and we were shown what to do with the drywall. And so don't feel that you got to have all these skills. You will be guided and instructed along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also, sometimes people get nervous that a lot of our work is done by volunteers. You don't have to have skills to do it, but a lot of our volunteers already do. Some of them are retired contractors that just, are retired from the trade, but want to give back. And we also have paid staff. We have 3 construction staff that are paid, that are on the sites helping, work side by side. And then all of our stuff is inspected by the township and all that good stuff. So everything is made sure that it is in working order. It is, up to standards, all that good stuff. So we really do pride ourselves on quality work. We also provide a 10-year limited warranty that we pay for our homeowners. So you get that peace of mind as you go in. You have your first 30 days in your home. We give you like a punch list that you can kind of just write down any random things that may have been missed or that you just have questions about, those types of things that we will go in and make sure if any loose ends need to be tied up that they are. And then, within the first year, anything major were to happen, we're there, to help support you in that you don't even have to use that 10-year limited warranty with. And what's great, a lot of the areas that we build in, it's not just one home and done. So we're in that community for quite some time. And we really try to stay connected to our homeowners. Once they're already in the program, we still want to hear from them, want them to partner with us. You guys, once you're a homeowner, are our biggest advocate. So, we want to continue to walk alongside you. What's also great is, like I said, we partnered with the USDA on the West Grove home. So your mortgage is held with the USDA. But with all of our other Habitat homes, they're a 0% interest rate. You're paying back Habitat for these homes. So, we work with homeowners. I don't think there's any other mortgage company out there that if you have a rough month and you can't pay a month, that we would just add that to the back of your mortgage. No questions asked, as long as you're communicating with us. So that's also a peace of mind for our Habitat homeowners that, we want people to stay in their homes. We want you to be able to continue to afford your home. So as long as you communicate with us once you are a homeowner, we will do everything that we can to work with you as well. Yeah, Jasmine.
A quick question. You spoke about you all are finishing Cambria here, right? And you're going to start building like in town.
Yes.
When you say town, can you be a little more specific as to what areas in town in the coast you're building in?
Yep, absolutely. So we have lots on Coach Street. I want to say it's the 800 or 900 block of Coach Street. So I think there will be 4 homes there. We have 1 lot on Lumber Street. I think that's the 700th block, 100th block, if I'm not mistaken. And then we also have a rehab property that we just purchased on Strode Ave. So those are the specific locations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If a family has a child that's disabled, let's say wheelchair bound, are there accommodations that are made in regards to that, or do they have to go through some other program to get that done? Because I noticed the houses that with the steps, and although the bedroom, you have 2 bedrooms on the first floor, like for someone getting in and out stepwise, are there accommodations made to that particular house or?
I can't say for certain. I know that we would do, what we can. If it were to be like reconfiguring a whole entire home, we might have to be very strategic on, where we build, and work with that homeowner in that way. Maybe look for a rehab home that's just the one level, that type of thing. So I know that we would do all of those things that we can do. But I can't say that, if, like, say a homeowner was approved and they were going to get a home in Cambria Terrace, all those homes are exactly the same. So we wouldn't be able to completely change a whole
Mhm.
entire layout. But yeah, we would definitely try to find a way to make an accessible home, for a family if we could.
Okay, thanks.
And I guess also want to mention, because this, it's, some people ask, why should I, want to become a homeowner? Because there are some benefits to being a renter. It's somebody else's responsibility to fix the home, those types of things. But like I said, so many of our homeowners in our program are significantly reducing the amount that they're paying each month, in their mortgage. They're also building equity. So we have homeowners who, Habitat of Chester County started, 30 plus years ago. So we have homeowners that have already paid off their mortgage. Some that have stayed in their home for, 10, 15 years and then decided to sell. Maybe they relocated or, wanted a bigger home or something. And the amount that they're making, in the equity when they sell their home. We had one woman who, her home increased like $100,000 in value, from the time that she purchased. So you're definitely building generational wealth for you and your family. Not only can you save on your monthly payments, but then also just having that money go right back into, it's an asset for you. And a 0% interest rate is not heard of anywhere else. So you're not paying interest on our traditional Habitat homes, even the ones that we have in West Grove with the USDA. You're looking at anywhere from 0 to 3.25%, I think, which is still a great deal. I haven't even seen anyone be as high as 3% with a USDA loan. It kind of depends on where you fall financially and your credit report, but a lot of them come in at like 1 or 2%. So that's great. So, most of your payment for your mortgage is going right back into your home, for you to benefit later on.
Brooke, can you use, I've heard of the example up in Coatesville, about, just about what you were talking about with the equity, what is the true cost of building and how that equity is handed back to the homeowner over a period of time from
Yep.
Habitat. I think that's a big piece that would be good to have a better understanding of.
Sure. Yeah. So, and these are changing because, as we all know, everything is going up in price. But as of, last year, our homes in Coatesville were costing us around $230,000 to build. We have, and hopefully I don't confuse anyone. We have 3 mortgages that somebody has. Currently $110,000 is what our homeowners pay on. So they're paying their principal and their, property taxes and such. So they're, and no interest rate. So they're paying on $110,000 loan. Then we have a $31,000 loan that just sits there. There's no interest on it. You pay it whenever you sell your home. That could be in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. You are not paying that $31,000 until you sell your home. And really, you're not paying it. It's just going to be reduced from the amount that you'll get from selling your home. So it's not like a money that you have to have saved to pay us back. And then whatever your home is appraised at, which is typically coming in, and it changes with the market, but anywhere from $230,000 to $250,000 is what the homes are being appraised for. So whatever that difference is, typically it's been around $80,000 is your third loan and is forgiven over 15 years. So if you stay in your home for 15 years, that $80,000 loan is just forgiven, and that money is just equity in your home that you just get. If you decide to sell at year 8, you're forgiven 50% of that. So, depending on how long you stay in your home up to that 15-year mark, you're forgiven a certain percentage. And then if you decide to sell, then you just pay back whatever that difference is. Again, it's just like that $31,000 mortgage, it's at 0% interest. That's not money that you need to already have saved up. It's just whatever you get from selling your home, those numbers just get taken off of the top first before you get any leftover funds. So really, if you stay in your home for 15 years, you're, without doing anything except staying there, $80,000, again, give or take a little bit, depending on what the appraised value comes in at, is just given to you, which is fantastic, and really sets folks up for success.
And the whole idea is to incentivize yourself to stay in that home and not try to sell it a year or two down the line. Build that equity, because that is life-changing, family life-changing.
Yeah. So we have that in place, one, because we don't want anyone to take advantage of our program. We don't want them to get a good deal and then turn around and flip the home. So staying in it over time helps that. And yeah, not only are you getting a beautiful home that hopefully is cheaper monthly for you, certainly in every case should be better living conditions, a place that you can call your own, that somebody's not going to tell you, in a month you have to get out, like they can a rental property. But you're also building that generational wealth, that that value over time on your home, that when you go to sell is yours to keep, the profits that are in there.